If I could go back in time and teach my 20-something self one very valuable lesson that could have transformed the last 4 decades of my life, it would be this one simple thing: live below your means. Now, I know that sounds really simple and contrite and whatever, and, financial gurus tell us to do this all the time, and certainly my parents lived this way. They modeled this for me throughout my life. But I was young, and I was newly married, and I had a couple of kids, and I was stupid. I was just stupid. And we lived way beyond our means for the longest time. And when I think about what it cost me, not money. Money's never been important. Very important. But when I think about the heartbreak and the stress and the anxiety and the lost opportunities and the dreams that never happened because I had strapped us to a debt wheel so massive, there were times we couldn't breathe. That's what I want to talk about today. Now, at its core, living below your means applies to anyone. Whether you are making $30,000 a year or you're making $300,000 a year, we all need to live within our means. I was making really good money when I was in my 20s for the time. We're talking about the late 70s, early 80s. I was making a really good living. But I always wanted the next thing. And I don't really know why. I don't know. I think there were times when I was trying to create some kind of happiness in the home that maybe wasn't there. Or maybe I was trying to impress people that I graduated high school with because I didn't think I was very well liked when I was in high school. I don't know the reasons. I know that, most of my money, big money, went to cars. And I've talked about this in previous videos, but if you're new to this channel, you probably have not heard these stories before. And at one time, we had 3 cars and a bass boat. There were only 2 of us that could drive. And, one of those cars was sort of an old beat up Jeep, and we'd paid most of it. We had a little bit of money still owed on it. But then the other 2 cars were what we drove to work every day, and we were paying payments on those cars. They weren't paid for. The payments, the insurance, the gas, and then I would trade cars. We would get tired of that one and buy another one. And sometimes I would trade cars. We're talking new cars, brand new cars. I would trade the car in like 8 months. I lose a lot of money on the trade-in, but I felt good because I had another new car. We went out to eat all the time. I mean, all the time. And it wasn't just my wife and I going out for dinner, or maybe trying to have some time alone away from the kids. It wasn't just that. It was the family of 4. We ate out all the time. I would buy my wife new clothes, maybe something new every week, just trying to look as if we had it all together. And I'm not going to lie, there were times when the power got shut off. There were times when the phone got shut off because we didn't have enough money to pay the bill. It was embarrassing. It was heart-wrenching. It was horrific. And I would wind up begging my parents for help. It became very quickly begging my mom for help because my dad was gone. And there have been more than a handful of times that my mom has bailed us out of my stupidity. Now, it's easy to understand in today's age why enough never really feels like it's enough. Social media impacts us. It's never been easier to get credit, or at least it wasn't. Maybe it's harder now, but you could go take out a loan for almost anything. And then there is this whole thing about lifestyle creep. You get a little raise, and instead of socking that money away, you start to buy another dinner out, or you take a better vacation, or you think about being able to afford a little more mortgage for a little more house. And all of these things just continue to add and add and add. And it was probably the single most detrimental decision of my life to live beyond my means. And I think I lived with this lie that I was just one purchase away from happiness. It's like the gambling addict. He's just one throw of the dice away from hitting it big. You're just one lottery ticket away from winning the jackpot. And you're just one gadget, one car, one suit, one new picture in the living room away from finally feeling peace. And that peace never, ever, ever comes.